Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the BFNL Netball Show semi-final week in the BGT A Grade netball competition, and what a week the first week of finals was with the qualifying and elimination finals. We'll touch on that very shortly. We'll also have a look at the first and second semi-final in the BGT A Grade BFL netball competition shortly. I think I got BGT in there enough to start off the show. Kim, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Shaun. Nice to be back.
Nice to get the sponsors in nice and early too. Get that out of the way.
Yep. Pay our bills.
Have a very quick look at last week and jump straight into it. What a week it was. Qualifying final and elimination final week. 11 teams became 6 last week. 6 teams then became 4 as we said goodbye to Redan and ended their season. And Kim's just had a heart attack as we've had a little bit of... You like that one?
I knew he was going to do that.
Obviously, that's our boss there with the air horn, just giving us a little bit of a blast at the moment. And you can see the slow-mo at the moment. Kim has just jumped out of her skin. That is extremely amusing.
I knew it was coming, though.
It's your initiation. It happens to everybody. Everybody's got to get it at least once throughout their netball show life. Congratulations. You're now officially part of the team.
How red am I? I'm
You're going okay. You're good now that you calmed down.
Now.
Before, earlier story.
I knew it was coming.
Did you?
Yeah, I knew. I said to you before. I said,
yeah,
Rob was going to get me.
You did. Oh, you also mentioned it before. I said that about 10 o'clock today. I said, oh, Kim's coming into the netball show. You said, really? He was just looking through the finals boxes for an air horn at that time. So, well, might be. It's your initiation. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Back on to what we were talking about before that rude interruption. The qualifying final. North Ballarat City are taking on East Point last week, 49-47 result, just 2 goals in it. What a game this was from all reports. East Point had their chances, but North just that little bit too strong in the end. Yeah,
first quarter was all even, 15 goals. And then actually East Point were in front by 4 goals.
Up, weren't they?
They were 4 goals up. So, and then they were pegged back by 2, so 2 goals up, so at 3/4 time. So the game was theirs for the taking, really. But they're such a good team, both of them. You know, it could have gone either way. From what I hear, the difference was Tanya McKenny.
The general.
She's
came
back. On, yeah, and she came in as that impact player on Emma Farrell and just shut her down. So, you know, impact players are fantastic, and she's such an experienced player, and it just stifled Emma's movement.
Yeah.
And that was the only difference by the sounds of it.
And we know how good a defender she is as well. I know she gave Sophie Gunn the heebie-jeebies back in 2013 in the grand final as well, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. But, you know, it's just the experience that she brings. It would have been a great contest to watch between the two of them. So... but up the other end, Jordan shot very, very well again. As
is expected, almost.
Yeah, she shot at 80%, and Lauren Dew really stood up as well. And that's what one of my concern was, could Lauren stand up? And she did, and she shot at 82%, so 27 from 33, which for a young kid is a great effort.
Yeah, it is indeed. And once again, Lauren Dew just showing her mettle in big games. She's done it before in finals. She may need to do it again, and we'll touch on that more as we have a look at this week's games. The first elimination final last week ended up being a little bit of a cakewalk in the end between Lake Wendouree and Ballarat. 13 goals to 2 in the first quarter. That finals didn't really rub off on Ballarat. We thought they might come out to play. Instead, it was the other way. Lake Wendouree pounded them early on and kept going. The final score 51-28. Great for Ballarat to get out there and experience some finals netball, but in the end, Lake Wendouree far too strong. Yeah,
they'll be better for the run for next year and get that little bit of finals experience. It seemed to be their first and their third quarter, which was ones that really let them down. And to me, they're the 2 quarters that you really need to put your stamp of authority on. Try and break a backbone to start with in the first quarter, and then consolidate in the third, and then you head home from there. So the two premiership quarters, I think there's not one, there's 2.
There's 2.
They didn't capitalise, and they got trounced in those quarters, which is disappointing. But Lake Wendouree, I still think they're an awesome team. And it'll be a great match this week. But you know, they're big guns fired as well.
Yeah. And that's the key. Molly Boyle was fantastic from all reports. Mel Allen was fantastic. Emma Gill was fantastic as well. And they're probably their 3 main keys across all ends of the court as well.
Yeah, and then you had Kat Biscuit and Sasha McDonald come on, and they played a half and each, I think, in goals, and shot, you know, around the 80% marks as well.
Yeah.
So they were really strong right through, and we knew that was going to happen. But, you know, congratulations to Ballarat. on a wonderful effort this season.
Yeah, well done to the Swannies. Lisa Battistello's done some fantastic things at that club this year, and it's all onward and upward from here. They keep the players they've got this year and build on what they had, and they will go places next year. There's no doubt at all about that.
Yep, for sure.
Well done to the Swannies, but well done to the Lakers as well. Boy, they've got themselves in a familiar position now. They've won through to that second week of the finals. They've got the double chance. They've given themselves 2 cracks at a grand final.
Yes, they have. And I'm still decided who I'm going to pick this week. We'll talk about that later. But, you know, they're in with a shot.
They are indeed, as are Sunbury, who got through their first final on the weekend. 45-38 against Redan. And I'll tell you what, Sunbury had to be good on the weekend because from all reports I heard, Redan came to play and were really good.
Yeah, I heard the Redan attack line was awesome.
Yep.
Ruby and Jeddah stood up when they needed to. They both shot extremely well, 85 and 88%, which is most probably the best the both of them have shot this season.
I reckon it is, you're right.
So hit their straps at the right time of year.
Yep.
From what I'm hearing, I wasn't at the game, but the defence line was a little bit undisciplined, which cost them. And with Chloe Curran being such a holder, I think they tried to bully around a little bit, but it backfired. So there was some undisciplined play there, but regardless, it would have been a great game. I actually thought the result would be Sudbury might have beaten them by a little bit more, to tell you the truth. So Redan did a great effort there too, and you know it's been a really tough season for them. And I think, you know, to their credit, they've had a great season. Yeah,
it has. Well done to Redan. Obviously, a team that we thought at the start of the season might slip back a little bit given their build-up, but they didn't. They stuck strong, and Emma Henry has to take a lot of credit for their season this year. She has been absolutely fantastic all season long. She coached for the majority of the season. She captained. Someone pinched her for the ACU Sovereigns as a fill-in player as well, so there went her Monday and Wednesday nights throughout the year. So she's had to do that as well, and, gee, she's been a good player this year.
And it is so hard to be a playing coach. It really is. It's so difficult because you're looking down the court as a defender and you'll be looking in the attack line going, what do I need to change? What do I need to do here? And then concentrate on your own game as well. It's really, really difficult to do. And she's done an amazing job. Had a great season as well for her own game. So, yeah, well done, Emma.
Well done to Emma and well done to Redan and well done to everybody involved in the first week of the finals. Time to have a look at finals week number 2, semi-final week, starting with the second semi-final at the Eastern Oval between North Ballarat City and Lake Wendouree on Saturday. Winner of this game straight into the 2015 Grand Final. There's not much better a carrot you could dangle in front of a team than that.
It's fantastic. That second semi-final, sometimes it can be the game of the final series, and that's what happened last year between Sunbury and Melton when it went into overtime, and it was just a magnificent game. So hopefully we're going to get something like that again.
You won that game, didn't you?
Overtime.
Yeah.
By 2 goals.
Unfortunately, you couldn't do it 2 weeks later.
Good on you.
Oh well. Just before to bring that one up for you. This game, though, is going to be very, very interesting because we've spoken a lot this year about how strong Lake Wendouree are when they've got their full side, their starting 7 and their 3 subs that can sub so well on and off the court. Yet, they've played North Ballarat City twice. They got monstered by them 2 weeks ago. It was a 25-goal game. And earlier in the season, Lake Wendouree were ahead at quarter time, and then it was a 9-goal-to-nothing run that North City went on to around as Wardy comes back in with the air horn. You didn't quite jump as high that time, Kimmy.
Didn't think you'd get me again.
No, but you were almost prepared for it, so it was good.
I saw the door open.
That's the key, isn't it? You just see that door open, and I just steel myself because I know what's coming. He's trying to come around that way. No, that's somebody else coming around to say hello to us as well. But back on to North City versus Lake Wendouree. Can Lake Wendouree turn that trend around where North City have pretty much dominated them this year?
I don't think they can. It'll be a good game. And I've been a real supporter of Lakers because I think if you look at their list, they are so strong all over the court.
They are.
But I think it'll be really tough to go against a team who hasn't lost a game this season. And that's most probably, again, why I picked them last week. Whether they're starting to feel a little bit of the pressure, I don't know. You see, like Jordan's been shooting most probably in the high 80s. She shot at 80, which is still fantastic.
It is.
But depending on what the pressure's like, that defensive pressure, who they'll play on her as well. I'll be really interested to see who lines up on her.
It's interesting because they've played Jackie Clifton and Emma Gill in those two defensive positions all season. Everybody knows how much of a pain in the bum Birdo is to play on when she's defensive as well. But you could put Kat Biskin into the mix, who gives something a little bit different. We mentioned this last time they played, where she's got that bit more height. She's that little bit unorthodox, so you're not quite sure what she's going to do sometimes, and did a pretty good job on Jordan early on in the season.
Yeah, I think I would go with Emma because that little bit more, I don't mean this to be roughness about her, that more physical style, and maybe get Jordan, push her out high as much as possible. Because she does prop really, really well, and if she just gets pushed a little bit, it might help. Get her high and wide and see what happens.
Yep. And also we've got Laura McDonald in there as well, who's a pretty handy option to have defensively.
Yeah, she's been haven't been playing her much in defence when she has played. I think she's played more on the mid-court instead of wing attack. So, but she's really versatile. You can drop her into the mid-court, into goals, anywhere. So
she just played every position in the VNL Championship season this year.
She did, yeah. Sasha's McDonald's back, most probably for a full game this week.
Obviously only played the half game last week, coming off the back of the state, the School Sports Victoria State Carnival.
She would have been tired. But then again, Stacey McCartan had a fantastic game.
Yeah, again. As always.
Yeah, of course.
We expect that.
Yep, she fed beautifully. So and Gina, supported by Gina again. Those two just work in tandem. So yeah, it's a really exciting game.
And you mentioned Tanya McKenny as well, and she actually becomes a real X factor in this game, because you look at Emma Church and Sarah Milton, who've done a fantastic job defensively this year, trying to match up on. And the good thing about Lakers is they can rotate Mel Allen, they can rotate Sasha, they can rotate Kat Biskin, they can rotate Chrissy James, all through that goaling mix. So they've got some real options to throw at you. You throw someone like Tanya in there, who is such a strong defender, and is... If I was Tanya McKenny, I'd be rubbing my hands together at the prospect of playing on somebody like a Sasha McDonald, who will probably be too quick for her. But if she gets close and they get her in a one-on-one hold kind of scenario, imagine what Tanya's going to do to her.
She's got up here though, you know, and that's counts, what I mean. That counts for a lot. The speed factor, with Sasha that might be an issue.
Yep.
But, you know, she might sag back and wait for her.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you just open it up and you have a goal attack who can do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
If you do decide to sag back. So you've got to be really careful if you're going to drop into that hole or not.
North City, you're tipping?
Yeah, I am.
I am. I think it's going to be close, but tipping North City to get over the line and work through to that grand final that they haven't been to since 2013. Yeah, I saw Aaron with something in his hand then as well. And just thinking, what is he doing? I don't know if he's on the phone trying to get a message across, but they're shifty, so we'll just keep an eye on them. First semi-final on Sunday at the Eastern Oval. Isn't this going to be a fantastic match? East Point taking on Sunbury. These two teams have met only once this year, and it was back in round 2 or round 3 or something like that. And I had a look at the lineups, and East Point's was pretty similar to what we'll see this weekend, but there were a couple of unfamiliar names in the Sunbury side, so take nothing out of that game, I reckon, which was a 10-goal win to East Point. This game will be a ripper.
Yes, looking forward to it. Again, this is one that could go either way. My head's saying one thing, my heart's saying another. It'd be interesting to see if Kate Fletcher comes back this week. She's been out with an ankle injury for Sunbury, and I think they've really missed her drive coming into the goal ring. She seals so well onto the ring. And takes up the space. So her and Prue work in tandem as well, and she's a beautiful feeder of the ball into the goalers. So if Kate can come back, I think that's a real plus. I think she will be back this week. Yeah,
I've heard Elmo say in the press this week that he thinks he's expecting her back this week.
Yeah, so that's a real bonus, and that could even be the difference between the two teams.
Could be indeed. And when you look at this game, the thing that stands out for me is obviously the height of the Sunbury goalers. Chloe Curran and Abby Healy, very, very tall girls. And coming up against a East Point defence that probably hasn't got the height. Obviously, Marcel Galjon has, but she's a different body shape to the Sunbury girls as well, where Beth Smith, a little bit shorter but can jump, very similar to Emma Ryan in that regard, but I just feel that could be a bit of a X factor in this game, having that height against that East Point defence, which is that little bit shorter.
If I was coaching Sunbury, I'd go for the height. I'd go for the tall options, because you've got Ruth Smith that's not working. You can just flip her in really quick, and Ruth's had a great season. I'm really looking looking forward to the mid-court battles.
Yep.
Loz Atkinson had a sensational game last week. So I'm just really looking forward to who she lines up on.
Yeah, she's been playing more out of wing A recently,
yeah,
so
has.
Kate Begley or someone like that will start at wing D probably.
Yeah, even maybe she might get Jamie Clark.
Yep.
Which would be a really good matchup.
It would be.
And they could just go with it, fitness and speed. They can match each other. So it's going to be a little bit like a chess game, I think.
Lauren Dew on Becca Anstey this week. That'll be a ripper.
Yes.
That'll be almost the young bull and the old bull locking horns in very many ways. I don't want to call Beck old because this does get back and she doesn't like it when we say stuff like that. But you know what I mean with the experience of Beck and the big games that she's played in across her career against somebody like Lauren that has got a lot of big games of netball ahead of her.
Again, we keep saying that Lauren's going to be tested week after week and she keeps performing.
She keeps bringing it too.
You know, Beck might be a different kettle of fish. I think she's most probably not going to be a player that she's played a lot on, of that type of player. And Beck can be a real intimidating player as well. And that's a weapon, and you need to use it. It's all in the spirit of the game and the rules. So it'll be interesting to see how Lauren reacts to that. But I think there's that height factor. I think I'm going to go towards Sunbury. Yeah,
unfortunately, and it's tough to say for a team that's have lost one game for the year and then lost to an undefeated side that's been great all year and only lost them by 2 goals. But I'm tipping Sunbury as well.
We were supposed to disagree.
We were supposed to, but we haven't.
Yeah.
And it's a bit disturbing in many ways because we're starting to think the same way.
Oh, that's scary.
It is indeed. And look, I'm tipping Sunbury, but in many ways I kind of don't want to because I want to see East Point continue on with this fantastic run they've had this year and get themselves into a preliminary final and then shake that preliminary final monkey off their back and get into a grand final and prove to everybody how good a side they are. And the thing is, Sunbury, they peak at the right time of the year. You know that firsthand because you helped build that culture for them. But they're doing it again. They're really playing good netball come finals time. And I've got that feeling that they're going to do it again.
And as I said last week, is their finals experience. Because it's a different crew than I coached last year. It's substantially different. So they're not as experienced. So if that's a chink in their armour, that might be it.
Whereas East Point, on the other hand, are very finals experienced.
And what we've got to think, we've got 4 fantastic teams left. So any of these 4 teams are worthy grand finalists.
Agreed.
Any of them.
Yep.
So, I have to go for Sunbury. And that's not putting my ex-coach hat on either. I just got a feeling that they might be just a little bit too strong on the day.
I've got that feeling as well. That's all the time we've got on the BFNL Netball Show this week. Thanks to you for watching. Thanks to Rod for the interruptions and making Kimmy jump out of her skin earlier today. And it's good to see that slow-mo. We might just run that slow-mo again now just to remind everybody of... There it is. Kim just almost jumped all over me as well as jumping out of the screen. So we'll try not to have anything like that next week. We might find a secure filming location next week and make sure we're away from the riffraff. That's all the time we've got. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.